Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you all so much for taking the time to stop by and chat a little bit about GameStop. I've done it. I've done something. A cash floor indicator for our beloved that has the cash without subtraction of the debt with the Bitcoin on it. Of course, that is tied to the current price, which is quite nice, giving us a floor of 20.40, which is awesome. And then we have the cash plus the interest minus the debt into 2030, the carry floor, of course, with Bitcoin on. And we can toggle that on and off in the settings, which I'll show in a sec, which is great, at 1580. And then the cash minus the debt with the Bitcoin down at 1102. Oh no, so that's not too great. And well, would you look at that? Oh, would you look at that? So, we have kind of touched into these channels before, right? Which is quite interesting, and are beginning to do so as well. So, unexpected, but, when the market does potentially turn against us here, this is what protects us from, bankruptcy. And that is where, shorts wanted to get us. And at the end of the day, if there are any shorts below $16 come 2030, just, ooh, wee. And then, that's going to pile on. And at what point do they capitulate? Right. So we're going to all have to wait and see as I grow old and turn gray here with everyone. But a cool indicator. Now, I did publish that for everybody. You can go in here to the settings if you want to turn the Bitcoin on and off. And that is tied to the current price, which is quite nice. Inputs. Yeah, include Bitcoin, yes or no, right? So you can just turn that off, and it's going to self-adjust, right? So without the Bitcoin, we're down a little bit, but that's fine because we do want to include that even though our position is potentially a little bit red, and whether or not we take this pullback as an opportunity to size in, I don't know, and we're going to adjust for that. Of course, if the warrants are exercised, we're going to adjust for that as well. So go through my numbers, make sure I'm correct on that. It's easy to make a mistake, and I just hope you enjoy all of this because I certainly do think it's a nice addition for us. And well, would you look at that? We are getting into that cash floor. Of course, this does not have the debt subtracted, right? Which is a bit of a bummer. But the reality is we do want to subtract the debt, even though it is at 0%. And then what we do here for the 2030 carry floor is we're actually adding the interest that is making onto our principal 4.5 or whatever it is, right? Which is pretty cool, right? So we don't get to keep, of course, all of that because we're either going to have to give it back or dilute the float. Both are, the same. But what we do get to keep is all of the interest we've made on the interim. Now, by doing these offerings and creating the cash, it sets us off potentially to do a share buyback as well. Now, I'm sure GameStop is looking at these levels as well. We asked that in our last video. At what point do they, maybe start thinking about a share buyback? And well, I've got some potential ideas as to that here for us all. So that's what's going on here. I hope you enjoy. You can just search GME Cash Floors for that as well if you want it. And then we seen this out today, which I really appreciated. This is awesome. Net sales versus store count. So, we see GameStop trimming a lot of the overhead, getting rid of unprofitable stores, shrinking their footprint, while having the stores that do exist kind of increase their profitability, which is quite nice. And that's exactly what we want to see more of in the future, right? So with the earnings report coming out in only 16 days potentially, that's kind of, eyes on that. And we're going to be looking, of course, at the collectibles and the hardware numbers as well. 13Fs are out. Institutional percentage is down a little bit, but the overall is up. And I think we added some shares to the float maybe. So I don't really know how that works because I don't think the bonds are added yet, which is wild. And I don't think well, maybe some of the warrants have been exercised, right? I guess that is the excuse here potentially, right? Because those don't need to wait, and maybe some people just got right after it, right? A good chance of that being so. Anyways, but the total is up, not by much, which is fine. It looked to be like it was dropping. A lot of people trimming back, but others loading up to get us up by 3.5 million, which is literally nothing on at a 440 million float or something, right? So moving on, we're doing a little bit of shopping today for an earnings play. Buying some time, right? Jan 16, 26, $20 calls in the money, basically at the money, right? And we could slip down lower. Of course, we want to manage our risk on this and are looking to climb up with some IV, and then unloading this position in the days preceding earnings, right? 2 days until earnings, 1 day until earning, maybe the afternoon of earnings if you really are on a roll and it's like going hard. Make sure you bleed those down. If you want to hold, 10, maybe 20% of your total position through earnings for the moonshot, by all means, that's kind of what we do. And this is a process I repeat every single earnings and have been doing so successfully for some time. This is literally my bread and butter. And something that you can do not only with GameStop, but really any company that you're comfortable with, because, they're all going to have this pre-earnings hype, right? The euphoria that builds up and people are placing bets. And if you buy those bets early, you can sell them those bets to the people who are impatient. They're like, oh my God, there's GameStop earnings tonight. I don't have any calls. It's going to explode. I'm going to be rich. And you're like, well, okay, I'm already up 60%. You can have it. I only need to hold one for a lotto anyways, because, it's a good chance that there's going to be an IV crush. And, maybe it doesn't pay off to the extent that you'd like, right? Because with an IV crush, it's going to melt the value of those contracts, which, if it's your first time here with me, just pay attention, just watch it, observe, get used to the pattern, because it's a long way until 2030, a lot of quarters to go, and it could be worthwhile to learn how to play an earnings cycle, which is going to happen all of the time. And it's not like earnings are never not going to be hyped up, specifically, with the GameStop crew, right? So we're going to be tracking these. I suspect once GameStop announces the earnings date, we'll really see IV pick up, and these contracts will get priced up if you get in a little bit ahead of time with some additional time, so we're not on the back end of that theta decay. All right. And then using some paid data for you through Options Play. I hope you enjoy. Just giving you an idea of the strength of this. It's not strong, right? The recommended call for us is pretty decent. Limited risk. As long as we close up, it should be good. But we're not holding this to the whole period, right? The delta is pretty low, so a lot of room for improvement. If we could swing this up to a 0.5 or a 0.6, that would be fantastic. And then coupling that maybe with some IV as well would be pretty cool. So not a great play, right? Because we're in a bearish trend, right? Our 1 month is bearish and our 6 month is bearish here, right? But what we are finding here is a localized support, which is pretty decent. So showing you, just some information that, maybe it's better to just be buying shares at the low, and then you don't have to worry about any of the risk associated with the call, right? But what you could do, if you wanted to mitigate some of this risk, which isn't great, you could, say, be buying a $20 call and selling a $26 call, right? Now you got a vertical spread, which is pretty nice if you'd like to move forward, which is decent. And then I don't have this, so I can't flip through it for you, but you're being paid, obviously, for the 26, and then you're buying the 20. The 20 is going to be more expensive than the 26. So say like the 20 is $2.50, right? Or $250, and then the 26 is $50 or something, right? So you are able to manage your risk a little bit there, and if it does go above 26 and you get those called away, that's fine, because you still own the 20, and then that's gonna cover that for you, right? So getting rid of the downside while still holding onto the potential upside exposure here, which is pretty decent. And then, kind of looking at that a little bit deeper here for you. So what was this? Yeah, buying for 255 and selling for 60 cents, right? So pretty close. And, we have the earnings date, but we're not holding this through earnings, so we don't need to be aware of that. We're going to be selling into that final earnings run up, right? And then, it's just the biggest thing is the stock trend. Like I mentioned, we're in a 1 month and a 6 month bearish trend, which isn't great, but it is an earnings play for us here, right? So if the stock does continue to downtrend into earnings, we can cut it, right? We're not holding this into expiry, right? And I don't expect GameStop to go much lower, specifically with any gusto, right? It's not like we're just going to drop to 15 tomorrow. That would be crazy. On that note, volatility is down a little bit today. I expect this to, be down until GameStop actually officially announces the earnings date, and then people are going to start piling in, right? So this is kind of like a preemptive poke at the bear, just a little size in, and then we're going to have the announcement. We might size in a little bit more if things look good, specifically if we can tie this with a 15-minute reversal, which we are ever so patiently waiting for. We're chilling in this 1 day south side liquidity. This has got to be bottom. If it's not, I don't know what is. But, I would feel a lot better about this earnings play if we had the 15-minute reversal, the teal crossing the dark blue, the 15 over the 50. Oh, sorry, why do I keep saying 15? Maybe I should change it to that. The 21 over the 50, and then pairing that with an invalidation of our local bearish order block, or the breakthrough and base above our 200 exponential moving average, right? So if we get that, then I'm going to feel a lot better about sizing in to an earnings play. But, I still want to try it out with some profits from our last play. And then if things do look good, then we can size up a little bit. And then maybe it's, the week of earnings, and we can maybe play like some shorter term contracts, maybe get into like some weeklies or something. But still not holding them through earnings. It is imperative that you grasp that you're selling these into earnings, not holding them through. You can hold a small percentage if you've already locked in bulk profits, and it's like, I don't care, if these go to zero because I've already made X amount, and I feel comfortable with that, right? So yeah, we talked about this, and then we did the cash. How much is GameStop? I was just talking to Chatbot about it. Basically, we do have the paid version, right? Going through and then developing that script for you guys, which is awesome. So spending some time there this afternoon, and yeah, this is what you have there. So, there's nothing really to look for, technically speaking. The kitty charts are going to be abysmal right now as well. I mean, the RSIs may be worth checking out, like oversold much. Like, what is going on here, right? And that's, I guess, what makes me semi-comfortable beginning to size in on a non-confirmation earnings play, because we're super oversold, and at any point this should bounce back. Right? So not much for you all here today. Just chilling. Wanted to stop by. The market is, kind of on its tippy toes here. I think a large part of that is waiting for, the vote on the files to come out, and what really, unfolds with that. I don't really know. It could rock the market, or it could like skip past it and nothing could happen. I honestly don't know. You see a lot of other players potentially sizing down. SoFi dropped Nvidia, and then I guess Peter Thiel dropped Nvidia in bulk this weekend here. The 13F kind of made publicity, so. I kind of I hate to say this, especially in my GameStop videos. Typically, I do them on my day trading, but they're gonna say, "Oh, AI bubble, AI bubble." Is it an AI bubble, or is it a files bubble? And it's any of the corporate structure who was involved in these files is gonna have their company absolutely rocked by the allegations and whatever. So that's a weird thought, but it's kind of been on my mind because you've seen too much of it. They've been pushing the bubble and the AI bubble narrative so much, and it's like, when's the last time mainstream media has been forthright about anything? But a cover story, I get that. I totally get that. I understand that. So we'll see. On that note, I do think that we need to continue looking for potential, if not total acquisitions, stakes for GameStop to explore, right? Undervalued companies that got rocked by the tariffs that are maybe relevant to our core business and have the potential to turn around on their own, as well as, maybe we get some tariff refunds on that as well. Wouldn't that be nice? So thank you all so much for watching. It could be a bit of a slower week while the market kind of just holds its breath for the vote tomorrow, and I think there's going to be some hearings that come out after that. So maybe a few days for us, and we'll have to all wait and see. I hope you enjoyed the new indicator. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. We do custom indicators from time to time. My volume indicator that I utilize is custom. I really like that. And on that note, GameStop volume is down, right? Our current day volume, 4.96 million, and our 30-day average is 6.6. So the lower that daily can go, the lower our 30-day average goes. And then when we get some form of volumetric event, the better, right? The lower the average with fresh volume, the more price improvement we will experience. So cheers. Have a great day. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to be getting your levels in within the Buck the Bunny. If not, we do have some content here for you. It's oh, man, it's a grown man playing a kid's game, right? Woohoo! But hey, it's been a lot of fun, so I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you all soon again.